Blueoak, recall.
Oh, sorry, Blueoak.
Blueoak, yes. Hi. It's on there, yeah. Hi, I'm Rick Altinger, the CEO of Blueoak, and I'm going to talk to you about our mobile diabetes management platform. We'll get the slides up here in just a sec, but to start with, we were founded by folks that have been very involved with Indus. Yogan Dalal from Mayfield, Sandeep Madra are two of the main founders. Great, thank you. Can you put it in, whoops, can you put it in slideshow mode for me? We recently completed a $16.5 million funding round due to the success that we have had with what is on this slide, which is basically leveraging data to deliver better health outcomes. And we're a mobile healthcare company in the sense that we leverage mobile technology, and because diabetes is a very mobile, really challenged disease and condition. It's not because we're using wellness-oriented apps. We are very much involved in a chronic disease. So what we're about is what's here on this slide. We very much believe you have to get trusted data, whether that's from one of these glucose meters, of which there are many, or I'm wearing actually an insulin pump right now. I'm pumping saline, but I'm wearing this insulin pump because I'm testing our product. So I control that with this device. And this comes from a company called Omnipod, one of our partners. There are dozens of these things out there. So the challenge in the market is to bring together data from a heterogeneous market that's becoming more and more fragmented, and create an ecosystem where you can bring this data together for the patient and the provider and the payers in order to deliver better outcomes and lower costs. So we do this for payers, and integrated health systems are our main customers. So Stanford Hospital System is now using the product. Joslin in Boston is the #1 diabetes center in the country, is a user of our product. So the best way to really learn about Blueoak is to talk to patients with diabetes and talk to endocrinologists that are really managing the complicated cases that are out there. We had to go through an FDA clearance process in order to do what we do for both the software, and we have a piece of hardware in some cases. For example, with this blood glucose meter, which is used by 10 million plus people around the world, it's a dumb meter. How do I get the data off of this thing? But it's a very inexpensive test strip, so it's very popular. We have built a Bluetooth dongle that works with it as well as dozens of other devices in order to pull that data out of there. So we've got a very strong value proposition that's been demonstrated by both patients and providers and endocrinologists in their testimonials about us, and they're willing to invest in us. So I mentioned Joslin is the #1 diabetes center. They're using the product. DGD is the #1 private type 2 clinic in San Antonio, Texas, or in the Fat Belt, as Dr. Fisher there, who's a user of the product, calls it. And then Hoffman Roche is the largest meter company in the world, is a partner with us and resells our product along with their blood glucose meters and pumps. And then last and certainly not least, Medtronic recently became an investor in us. They are Omnipod, a company called Insulet, is the #2 insulin pump company. Medfusion is the #1 company. And then we obviously have some top-notch investors as well in the company. So in terms of the size of this market, it's staggering, right? 29 million people in the US, about 380 million people today globally, expected to go to 590 million people by 2035. And what are the top 3 countries where diabetes is prevalent? China #1 at about 100 million. You guessed it, India #2 at about 65 million people. The US at 29 million people. It's a staggering problem. And the growth rates on it are just sickening, to be honest with you, is the only way to put it. So we're helping to get people under control in order to manage this disease. The good news about diabetes is it is addressable. It doesn't have to be the leading cause of blindness, amputations, and kidney failure. It is addressable with proper care. The challenge is the industry has lacked the proper care tools to make this happen. So again, what we do then is we bring all this data together into one platform. We pull the data, we put it in the smartphone, there's analytics and tools here for the patient to use, and then we put it into the cloud for everybody else to use it. Now, one of the things people will say is, well, aren't all devices going to Bluetooth? They are, but it's going to probably take 10 years to get there. I mean, this is a highly regulated insulin pump. Yes, they're working on Bluetooth. They're probably 3 to 4 years away from it. So for now, it's a necessary evil to have our own hardware and connectivity, and we're really good at getting that data off different devices using, this speaks a 3-volt serial signal. This speaks sort of like a USB signal, but a little different. You kind of got to mount it and such. We're really good at that, and then about the disease management aspect. So it's a circle here. It's a process to involve the patient and the healthcare system in the care. Put the data in the cloud. It's not necessarily real-time feedback. I'm not controlling the insulin pump, but I am giving guidance to the endocrinologist so that with a remote interaction, they can say, I can see what's going on. And I'm going to give you updates as to how you should change your insulin delivery program that you've got loaded in here. So that's what Gluco is about. In the early results, we're showing some very good outcomes, which is why the investors came in and invested money in Gluco, as well as, more importantly, from an endorsement perspective, the strategic partners like Roche, Medtronic, these multi-billion-dollar companies see our platform as necessary. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll be around.